Hi, welcome to Ekate's Crossing. Okay, so we're going to continue with our exploration of Secret of Shambhala. We're up to chapter 8, but we're up to part 3 of that. Now, if you're on Ko-Fi, you know that you've been getting the pre-orders, the previews before they are viewed on YouTube. Okay, so let's begin with the Siddatha Tarot, and I'm going to use the Sacred Geometry cards for the Visionary Path. I just sort of felt like they were getting, it was sort of appropriate for now. Now, I'm going to use maybe the guidebook depending on the message that I'm getting through. So, let's begin this journey. Let's have a look. What are we going to do first? Let's look at a theme using the Sacred Geometry cards first. Let's do one card to begin with. Oh, this one here popped out. Oh, actually two popped out. What have we got? Okay, we've got Green Taurus with 49 and 19 Swallow the Sun. So let's have a look and see what number 49 is first. So see what the keywords are. Okay, 49. The keywords are acceptance and trust. So it's being able to accept what's going on in this moment and actually being able to trust the process or trust what's going on, maybe trust those around you. Those that you let into your life, trust those that you believe to being able to do what you need to do. Now let's have a look. Number 19 was Swallow the Sun, about dreams and visions. Okay, visions and what you see achieving in your goal. So trust in the process that you're going to get to where you want to be. Kind of interesting. So, kind of interesting there to look at those keywords. Just thinking about what those keywords, I'm not going to go into too much detail. I want you to think about what it means to be able to trust. I think the big thing here is being able to sort of trust that vision. Trust your visions. Trust what you want to achieve. Whoa, okay. Siddatha Tarot, we get the Knight of Wands. So to me, in this context, when we're talking about Knight of Wands, we're talking about things happening quite quickly, like they're swift, like things are happening smooth. I feel like a very smooth energy, but as things are sort of moving ahead quite quickly, things are moving with a lot of passion. There is a sense of intensity in this process here. It does feel quite intense. Okay, I'm getting a couple of cards here. So I get Four of Wands. Four of Wands to me is a celebration, a celebrating of what's going on, with the Two of Wands with a moment of choices yet to be made, or choices that are going to be made in this process. So I do feel like this trust and acceptance, this trust that things are, that vision that you have is moving where it wants to be. There's a sense of acceptance in it, but you've also got choices that you've got to make as well. You do have that free will. Even though you might have that sense of trusting in the process, there is that always that free will. You do have that choice. So I'm getting free will in creating the sense of stability in the foundation of your spiritual journey. I do feel like in celebrating, there's a sense of celebrating, but it comes through a sense of stability with the intensity and things that have been going on. I do feel like things are going to sort of get a little bit more stable, but you do have to make some choices in this journey. Kind of interesting there. I do feel like there is a sense of choice. Okay, is about this one here with the moon. I get the sense of moving into an unconscious awareness. I do feel like you're getting more aware of what's going on, a bit more aware of your environment in some way as you move forward into a wealth of abundance. Kind of interesting there. So that is interesting. So let's just move these cards down. So we've got this coming into play here. So one more card. Place one more card. Okay, Five of Swords. Five of Swords is the sense of there might be some quarrels and some disagreements, some conflicts within yourself, and I do feel like that's within you. I'm not sure if you're going to have it with other people, but there's definitely some sort of conflict or quarrel, argument, a sense of maybe needing to take a moment to breathe and walk away from. I get a sense of like walking away from, to have that win-win situation. There might be times when you've actually got to walk away from the quarrels or the disagreements, to get pulled into other people's dramas, mental thoughts, perceptions, that sort of thing. Okay, so if we're looking at this whole thing, we're trusting the vision, trusting or an acceptance of what, that you don't take any action. Okay, there are times when action's important, and it could be that you've got to make choices. There are choices that do need to be made, even though you might find yourself in this moment of celebration as you find things moving quickly with this intensity, this sense of there is this moment of pausing for a minute and just allowing yourself to make a clear choice as you move into a sense of awareness, moving into the unknown, moving into a new possibility, a new cycle. Definitely feels with a wealth of abundance in some way, and it doesn't necessarily mean money or anything like that. In this case, I definitely feel it's about your own spirituality, your own trust, your own beliefs. And with that is that sense of maybe there might have been times of conflict and things like that. You might find yourself in a moment, and so you might find yourself needing to walk away, detach. I want to say a detachment from that drama in some way. Okay, so let's have a look and see what it says in this book with this. Okay, so we're up to chapter 8, the life process. Now we're up to part 3. I followed Annie out into the sitting area in the garden, full of questions. Where did Tashi's father go? I asked. He's getting ready for the transition, she replied, glancing back at me. This may not be easy. We may all be displaced for a while. There are many who are coming back from the temples and helping. I shook my head. What do you think will happen? No one knows, she replied. The legends are not specific. All we know is that there will be a transition. The uncertainty began to diminish my energy level again, and I sat down on one of the benches nearby. Annie followed and sat beside me. I do know what you must do, she said. You must continue to pursue the rest of the 4th extension. Everything else will take care of itself. I nodded half-heartedly. Focus on what you have learnt here. You have seen how technology must evolve, and you have now begun to see how our culture focuses itself on the life process, the miracle of birth and conscious evolution. You know that this is the focus that creates the most inspiration and the most fun. The materialistic life in the outer cultures pale when compared to it. We are spiritual beings, and our lives must revolve around the mysteries of family and talent and the search for individual mission. Again, you now know what such a culture looks and feels like. The legends say that knowing with certainty how cultures can evolve extends everyone's prayer field and gives it more power. Now when you connect within and see your field flowing out in front of you, acting to bring synchronicity, uplifting others into synchronistic process, you can do so with greater expectation, because you know with certainty where this process is taking us all. If we stay true to it and avoid fear and hate, she was right, the extensions were all falling into place. But I haven't seen it all, I said. She looked deeply into my eyes. No. You must continue to understand the rest of the fourth extension. There is more. Your prayer field can become more powerful yet. At that moment we could hear the helicopters again, and the sound of them filled me with anger. They seemed to be getting closer. How was this possible? How could they know where Shambhala was? Damn them, I said, which produced a horrified look on Annie's face. You have much anger, she said. Well, it's hard not to be angry when you realize what the Chinese military is doing. This anger is a pattern in you. I'm sure you've been warned of its effect. I thought back to all Yin had tried to explain. Yes, I have. I just keep messing up. I could tell she was concerned. You'll have to master this problem, she said, but don't get down on yourself too much. That sends out a negative prayer that keeps you where you are. On the other hand, you can't just ignore your anger. You must keep the problem in mind. Remind yourself, stay conscious, and at the same time set your prayer field that you will break through and discard the old pattern. I knew that was a very fine line to walk and would take conscious work on my part. What should I do now? I asked. What do you think? I've got to go to the temples. Is that your intuition? I thought again about my dream and finally told her about it. Her eyes grew wide. You dreamed of going to the temples with Tashi? She asked. Yeah, I replied. Well, she said sternly, don't you think you should tell him about it? I walked up to Tashi's room and touched the wall. Come in, he said, and an opening appeared. Tashi was stretched out on his bed. He immediately sat up and gestured to a chair across from him. I sat down for a moment. He was silent, the weight of the world on his shoulders. Finally, he said, I still don't know what to do. What are you thinking? I asked. I don't know. I'm confused. All I can think of is getting to the outer cultures. My mother says I must find my own way. I wish my grandmother was here. Where is your grandmother? She's at the temple somewhere. We stared at each other for a long time, and then he added, if only I could understand this dream I had. I sat up straight. What dream? I'm with another group of people. I can't see their faces, but I know that one of them is my sister. He paused for a moment. I could also see a place with water. Somehow I'd gotten to the outer cultures. I've had a dream too, I said. You were with me. We were at one of the temples. It was blue, and we found someone else there. A trace of smile across Tashi's face. What are you saying? He asked. That I'm supposed to go to the temples instead of the outer cultures? No, I said, that's not what I mean. You told me that everyone thinks it's impossible to get to the outer cultures through the temples. But what if it's not? His face lit up. You mean go to the temples and try to get to the outer cultures from there? That must be it, he said, standing up. Perhaps I have been called after all. Okay, that's it from me. Okay, the Celestine Prophecy with the Secret of Shambhala. Inside we've got the Siddatha Tarot with the Sacred Geometry cards for the Visionary Path by Francine Hart. That's it from me for today. Don't forget to check the links down below. Check the links on my channel. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you know when the next video will be uploaded. Take care and blessed be.